Welcome to Conversations with a Couple of Crones. We invite you to join us as we gather around our hearth and talk about our journeys with the Gene Keys and our personal transformations.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 12, which is actually a really brilliant number, which Meghan just pointed out to me, because I'm in my IQ Gene Key of 12.2, and this is 2.12. That's just so good. So we're really, we've had a little break. This year has been quite intense so far for both of us. So we took the pressure off of feeling like we had to do a podcast, a Conversations with a Couple of Crones every fortnight, and just decided that we would do it when it felt right to do it. And it didn't feel right to do it a couple of weeks ago because we were both feeling extremely raw and tender and tired with the things that were going on in our lives. But we've both come back now and we're still both feeling a little bit tender. But we want to talk about it. We've been having some really good conversations this week. So our plan for today, we're going to start in our normal way. And we're going to do our normal where am I now question for where am I right now in my life right now. And then our conversation today is going to kind of be a sort of bigger where are we now, because we've both moved into our IQ sphere as part of the Golden Path, the Sage's Golden Path retreat that we're on. And it's pretty huge for both of us. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I will kick us off. So where I am now, I've had a very busy few months. My husband and I have been completely redecorating our house, getting ready to put it on the market, to move to what we hope will be our forever home, because I am never moving again, basically. And last weekend, we actually finished the very, very last dab of the very, very last bit of paint that had to go on the house. So hopefully we've had it valued this week and hopefully it's going to be going on the market next week. But that has been pretty exhausting, doing that alongside working, alongside all the inner work that I've been doing. In the hottest summer we've had in, I don't know, hundreds of years, it feels like. We've been in a constant rolling heat wave, but we've done it. But I am exhausted. It's where I am right now. I'm really exhausted, and I'm really feeling it in my body. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling achy. My joints are aching, and I'm feeling very much like I really need to look after myself. I really need to tend to myself. And Meghan, you have been such a brilliant example to me in this, because of the way, well, you and Hayley both, Hayley Curtis, who's our wonderful Gene Keys guide, you both set such a good example of how to take care of yourself, not just to fix the bits of yourself that feel unwell or broken or whatever, but how to actually just take care of this vessel that we're in and our emotional and mental well-being. So I'm kind of bringing focus to that, and I'm really leaning into stillness as well, which is, it's one of the words that I set for this Sage's journey for this year, but for the whole Sage's journey. And then of course I called in that ally of Toad, which is really wanting me to be still. So yeah, I'm just bringing the focus to rest, going slowly, and looking after myself. So that's kind of where I'm at now. What about you, Meghan?
Well, before we go on, you have met another Gene Keys Unleashed
That
person.
is true. Yes, I have
Yes, because, and that
actually.
goes with the stillness.
It does. It does. Yes, thank you for reminding me. I meant to say that, because I was lucky enough a couple of weeks ago to meet, as Megan says, another Gene Keys Unleashed. The Gene Keys Unleashed membership is just the most incredible community of people, which is spread all over the world, from Australia to America to Canada to Europe to here in the UK to Ireland. And there's a fairly new member of the community, Sion, who actually lives in the same town as me, and we got to meet in the flesh, which was lovely. And then she told me that she does sacrocranial work. So I've had a session with her this week, and it was just the most relaxing experience, and it really brought so much stillness to my. I was just completely still for the entirety of the session and felt really heavy. And it was like, not in a bad way heavy, but
Right?
my body saying, stop. So
Yeah.
it felt perfect.
Yeah.
It's just felt perfect. And it's just been so lovely to actually make a connection in
Yeah.
real life with someone who's immediately we were immediately, the first time we met, we were immediately talking about gene keys and the sage and past life experiences and really deep emotional stuff. And it's like, oh my god, finally it's
Yeah.
taken me till my 60s to actually be in a place where I'm connecting with people who feel like they talk the same language as me, which is just, it's just amazing, really.
Oh, that sounds so delicious.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it
delicious.
was.
Are you hearing me echo on your side?
I'm not. No, you
Okay,
sound fine to me.
good. All right. Where am I now? You were talking about how tired you are, and my tiredness is true as well, but it kind of in a different way. Anyone who's been listening to us for a while might know that my chart, especially the Venus sequence, is about balance. So I have balance issues. And one of those, I have two specifically that are in the what would you would think of in the shadow realm. One is I've been diagnosed with bipolar illness, and the other is an eating disorder of binge and starve. So both of those are balance issues, right? So I have been able to gently, over time, certainly with the bipolar, I am no longer medicated for the bipolar because over time, with a balance of lifestyle changes and bringing in the spiritual aspects of the gene keys, that bipolar illness has moved from, being like a teeter-totter where you're sitting on the very ends to bringing in the two energies so they're very close together. So when I do go, my highs are much less high and my lows are way less low. But I still do feel that negative energy of apathy sometimes, anger sometimes, just this and so that's when I'm able to recognize him in the depressive side. Well, that happened this month since our call, right? And while I was in it, I decided to write a fairy tale about it. I've been into writing these fairy tales lately. Okay, so you and I wrote fairy tales a year ago while
Yeah.
we were in our SQ, right?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't written another one until recently. I did write one about my most recent attraction sphere first, but then this one was about basically, it's about holding two lights within my heart. One light being, even though feels dark, the depressive side is still a light. It is a part of me, which is not to be denied. It's just a part of who I am. But so holding these two lights within my heart and allowing them to be there. So that's what the fairy tale story was. And it is available on our website now and on in GKU. But the other thing that I'm working on, which is tied in with this, did I talk about going to the naturopathic physician last time when we talked?
Think you knew that you had the appointment, or
Okay.
you'd just had the appointment?
Okay. I probably didn't talk a lot about it. Basically, I'm going to a naturopathic physician to fine tune my body so that during my Crohn years, they can be enjoyable, right? So that I can have the amount of energy that is naturally available to someone who's 69, almost 70, to be able to maybe mitigate some of the inflammatory responses that I have that cause, high blood pressure and high cholesterol and hips that needed to be replaced because of the inflammatory responses I was having in my joints. So I've gone to this naturopathic physician, and the first appointment was just setting up intentions and then getting tests, like a blood test to see what foods I'm sensitive to, and a pee test to find out about my hormones and what's happening with my hormones. And do I have blood sugar problems and so on? And how bad are the heart problems, that kind of thing. So I, this week, had an appointment to find out. Was it this week? Yes, it was earlier this week, Tuesday. Oh my God, it's been a long time since then. And so I've had really good results. Actually, it turns out I don't have any food sensitivities. However, I am anecdotally sensitive to foods. For instance, I haven't eaten peanut butter in decades because I can't digest it. I have trouble now digesting any kind of tomato products. So as we were going through some of the things that I anecdotally know about my body, the physician mentioned, well, why don't you play around with lectins? See if lectin containing foods, how they work with you. Try them, eat them, see what your body does. Go without them for a while, see what your body does. So I'm on that quest at the moment. I'm preparing at this point because my pantry didn't have anything that didn't have lectins in it, except maybe, a chicken breast. But the other thing is she's helping me to adjust some of my hormones, which it would be a no-brainer that somebody at 69 is going to have some imbalanced hormones because, I'm postmenopausal. But the thing that I got from that the most was that actually I can trust my body more. Because I had thought, oh my God, I'm going to have all these foods that I'm allergic to, and I'm going to have to cut out all these foods because I'm allergic to them. Now, being sensitive to lectins is a little different than saying you're allergic to dairy, for instance. So, but by defining that this lectin journey was actually something I already had identified, just not put it into that category, was kind of eye-opening. It's like, oh, maybe I understand my body better than I thought. And you were talking about your ally of toad. I am traveling this year with the emu as my guardian. Emu is actually the bird for my life's work, but it is also a bird that says, tune into your body. Be kind to your body. Move back into that beautiful vessel that has carried you your whole life and care for it. Basically, the emu is just saying body, 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 So this is part of that journey with the emu. As I was doing this set of appointments, which were about 3 weeks apart, I started writing a fairy tale about my eating disorder, because whether I was allergic to foods or whether I had a sensitivity to lectins, it's going to change how I eat. And having I am at a certain point on that teeter-totter where I'm closer to being towards center, but I'm not center yet there. So I still do teeter-totter between being obedient to other people's diets
Yeah.
or being rebellious against other people's diets. Okay? So I wrote a 70-page fairy tale about this that has 6 different movements in it. But the movement I'm working with right at the moment is in a kitchen, where my alter ego in the fairy tale is. She has determined, she's a crone, she has determined that food is no longer giving her any chi. She is no longer getting any light from food, which is where I'm at too. I'm no longer getting the light from my food. I'm either following somebody else's guidance or I'm rebelling against it. And there's nothing I've chosen to support me with the energetic connection with the earth that food really ultimately should provide, right? So in this fairy tale, which is not published, by the way, it's very personal, and I haven't published it yet. But in this fairy tale, the kitchen has this door of obedience that goes into a pantry that's very clean, has lots of lists of foods you can eat, has the place where you can mark down what you've eaten today to make sure that you're at the right weight, and blah, 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 blah. So there's this door.
Very bossy pantry.
Very bossy pantry. And then there's the other door, which goes into the opposite, which is the rebellion, which is a messy door. And it's been kicked, and it's angry, and it's rebellious. And there's blackberry stains on the floor, and there's an exit to the outside where you can run away. And, so there's rebellion and obedience, and I call them different names. But then what happens when she goes into each of those doors, she just gets really tired. And she says, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do this anymore. So the house itself shows a third door. And the third door starts making itself and then naming itself. And the door is the door of with. And when you enter the door, you're with meaning relationship. You're in relationship with your body. You're in relationship with the food. You're in relationship with nature. You're in relationship with the natural rhythmic natural rhythm of earth, of Mother Gaia. So and within that door, actually, a whole bunch of other adventures, but that's what I'm working with right now, is being with the experience of eating, being with the experience of cooking. I hate to cook because of my issues with food. So not only am I gently, slowly, kindly asking myself to be in relationship with more lectin-free foods, but to actually cook them. Yeah. So that I'm on this journey, and I have asked Haley, I have hired Haley to be a guide with me just while I'm moving through this part of my disordered eating into a different relationship with my body and food. So that has been huge this week. And I think that's enough of where I'm at now before we go into the next wonderful part. So
yeah, I love what you said there, Megan, about being gentle with it. It's funny because I was just journaling about that gentleness that this work is. I was just journaling about it this morning because it's like, well, we're going to talk about our IQ in a minute, but I was coming at this thing and it was like, but hang on. Nowhere in the Gene Keys teachings does it tell me I need to rip the plaster off, or the Band-Aid, you call it. Rip it off and like look at all the wounds right away and find all the solutions and fix everything right now. This work is slow work, and it's slow work for a reason, because if it's going to be meaningful and you're going to make meaningful change and you're going to actually transform
Yeah.
inside and out, you need to do it slowly because, I mean, I, we've both had experience in our younger days of that, one diet fad after another, and you will, or one will, I did certainly, like go at it like crazy, lose weight really quickly, think, oh, well, that's sorted. And then the weight just comes back on again.
Right.
And it would be like this cycle of crash diet, eating what you want, putting loads of weight back on, crash diet,
Yeah. It's the
And
same
that's
swing. Yeah.
yeah. And we do that with so many parts of our life. And that is what I just love about this work is that, like gentleness
Yeah.
is one of the tenets of this work. It's like you're
Yeah.
doing it gently.
Well,
What is amazing, sorry.
I was
No,
just going to
say, you go.
You go for
You go. Oh, yeah. Well, I was just going to say the amazing thing about it is that thing that, and Haley's really good at reminding us about this, is that the slower you go,
Yes.
actually the quicker you go. Because I have slowed right down
Yeah.
in the last 3.5 years or more of working
Yeah.
in this way. But the changes I've made
Yeah.
have been huge,
Yeah.
and I've gone through them at what feels like a rate of knots, even though I'm actively slowing myself
Slowing down.
Yeah.
Well, I've been working with Haley for what's it now? 3.5 years
Yeah.
that we've been working intimately with Haley. Now, I haven't been on a one-to-one or even in a group. Yes, I am in a group with her with Held, but we have been working on my eating disorder since day one. It's not like it's not like I put it off and now all of a sudden I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
No, I am just now at the plate, like I said, those two ends of the teeter-totter. Now I'm so much closer to the center and I have so much core stability that I feel like I can face what's going to come up when I am very slowly and gently going to just touch those little parts of me that have been so wounded in this way. Because it is, for me, it is not just a lifelong issue, but it was also ancestral because my mother was even dieting when I was in the womb. I mean, literally counting calories while I was in the womb. She was in that pantry of obedience.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a really important message because I know that there's certainly within the GKU community where we will post this podcast, but also some of the people who follow us on our website, is that, there are people who are this is their first time coming to, like, doing the Sage's Golden Path Retreat is their first time coming to the Gene Keys. And I know I've seen comments from people, and people saying, I'm not getting it. Why am I not getting it? This is, I don't understand this. I don't get this. And you're not going to get it right away.
No.
I mean, we are both, this is, for both of us, this is our third time through the whole chart. I mean, you've done it even more times. I've done the activation
this is my fourth
an
time.
extra time, and you take back, like you say, you've been working with Haley on this eating disorder since day one of your first life's work reading with her.
Yeah.
And you peel back a bit and then you figure out what's going on there, and then you're ready to peel back the next little bit and the next little bit. So I think it's a really important message that it is okay that it takes time, and it's okay that you're not getting it. If this is your first time round, it is okay that you're not getting it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when I think about 3.5 years, it has felt, I mean, on the one hand, it has felt like I have been on this mountain path, this path that is not easy for a really, really long time. Yeah. But when you look at it for 3.5 years, if I'm able to come to a place where I'm happy with my body, which I am. I'm happy with my body. That has been part of the healing because the dysmorphia is part of an eating disorder. So that
Yes.
part has already been, I'm not going to say solved, but has already been melted,
Yeah.
softened. So, sure, I don't love that I have a 69-year-old body with sags and bags and, bits of fat everywhere, but it's me. And I
Yeah.
love me.
Yeah.
So that is very different than 3.5 years ago. So
Yeah.
3.5 years in a lifetime is short.
It is. It is.
So it's you have to bring in the timelessness of Jinky 5 for this. It's like
Yeah.
just
Patience. Yeah.
patience and just be with yourself where you are right now.
Yeah.
You guys who are listening here, you're hearing me make some amazing leaps in this eating disorder, but it is because I'm on a deeply solid foundation.
Yeah.
So don't, please don't get discouraged and,
Mm.
or please don't think you can leap to this tomorrow if just follow my doors. Sure, that might really help you right now to think of moving out of obedience and rebellion into with. That would be a wonderful little treasure to take with you right now. And be patient and with yourself wherever you really are right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, so
Yeah.
shall we
Shall we
talk
should
about,
move on?
shall we move on to the bigger where am I
Yes.
now, which is, of course, the fact that we are in our IQ sphere. We've been in the IQ for just under a week now. Um, and this is such a, I mean, this is the catalyst sphere of the Venus sequence, isn't it? This
That's
is
yeah.
like things can really shift and change here. And so the IQ sphere covers that period of your life between the ages of 14 to 21. Um, and it's that period of life where so many of your thought patterns and beliefs and ways of seeing the world were formed. So what the IQ invites you to do is kind of do this reverse journey through your life to look at these teenage years. And we thought it would be really good to talk about it because we're both approaching this in an entirely different way from each other. Um, and just to show, again, maybe to people who this is their first experience with the Gene Keys might be doing this Sage's journey, or people listening at some point in the future might just have discovered the Gene Keys, that there are as many different ways of contemplating your Gene Keys and doing this work as there are people on the planet.
Yes.
And even though you and I are so similar in so many ways, and we've had loads of life we're constantly, even now, a few years into our friendship, and we're constantly still sharing little stories from our lives, and it's like, oh my god, that exact same thing happened to me, or I had that exact same experience. So we're very similar, but we approach the Gene Keys in very
Different
different
ways.
and creative ways. So we thought it might be well, fun for us to talk about it because we talk about this stuff every day, but also maybe helpful to other people to see, the different ways of doing it. So do you want to kick us off, Megan? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your IQ gene key
Sure.
and
We're actually bringing in the sage as well.
yeah,
So no,
yeah,
so we're in this sphere of I'm saying 15 to 21 because that's actually through 21 as 7 years. It's a 7-year cycle, and it's where our intelligent intelligence quotients, blah blah blah, was developed. The way we think,
yeah,
was developed during this time. So So how do you put the sage word that you get, because the sage words themselves are just the gene key and the line combined,
Yeah.
right? So I have gene key 50, which is shadow of corruption. Equilibrium is its gift, and then the city of harmony. And then I have a line 6. What does my line 6 mean? I don't remember. The objective mind with the shadow of absence. Okay. I should know that. I just wrote about it. My actual sage word is strange. So it's the Gwithbuil. And anyone who who speaks Celtic or Gaelic, I don't know if I pronounced it right. It's got a lot of D's and L's and bwiz and jgwa. And anyway, the Gwithbuil mystic contemplations on the hidden patterns behind our lives. The Gwithbuil itself is a magic game board. So they didn't have chess back then. This is in ancient times. They didn't have chess back then, but they did have game boards and games. So what's magic about this game board is that the pieces move by themselves. So the thought behind it is perhaps our lives are somewhat predetermined if the board can move itself, right? So the title of the sutra is Divination. 13 golden men playing in a silver stream, 13 silver ladies laying in a golden gleam. The harmonic flights are endless, even the dissonance is exquisite. So, when I read that, I went, huh? Okay, don't get it. Other than divination, got that.
Yeah.
Divination. I liked the line mystic contemplations on hidden patterns behind our lives. I got that. And I love even the dissonance is exquisite. I have been learning that in some of my other sage words that, especially irreverence, where all things are blessed. You can't just pick the happy things.
Yeah.
The dissonance is blessed as well. So this is the same kind of thing, right? So for anyone who has a sage word and you don't know what the hell you just read, you are in good company. There are many of us who are there. Okay. So what I do when there's something like that, it's like, I don't know what to do with this, because it's not like mildness. I got mildness, I can understand mildness. I can be mild. I can get how that works in my life. How does this game board, that's a Celtic word I can't even pronounce, what does that have to do with my IQ? So what I did is okay, so that's one thread. Next thread is, here we are in the IQ again. It's my 4th time. And the IQ asks us, or Richard asks us in the IQ, to find, and this is actually a wonderful exercise that Haley has made a YouTube video about. Yes. So you want to find the key events that happened during this time, and they might change from time to time. And for me, I will tell you that. For, the first time I went through this, I didn't have the same tender moments that I'm remembering now. Some of them are the same because I haven't quite worked through them yet, but some are not. New things are coming up that I hadn't thought of before. So it's a movable feast. So to make a list, or I guess he has us illustrate a tree of the events.
That's the tree of influence.
Tree of influences.
Yeah.
So these events that happen, then take how you interpreted these events, right, in your life. So that's really determining how you're thinking, right? So my mom made me. I'm saying made me. This was not the true story. This is just how it felt. My mom made me start cooking for the family to earn my keep during these years, and she made me do it without any kind, because she didn't like to cook either. So without any kind of meaning or you're nourishing the family or anything. You're just going to do this. You're going to go grocery shopping and you're going to make the dinner meals for the family for most of the week, at least 5 days a week. And that'll be your room and board while you're living with us still. Right?
Wow.
So now, of course, I'm saying it in a very nasty way. That may not actually have been true, but my mind took it as that was the truth. So cooking is a chore,
Yeah.
shopping is a chore, having to cook for a lot of people is a fucking chore, you know? So
Yeah.
those are what my intellect took that all and made this belief, right? Then the third thing you do in this exercise is how is that affecting you now? It's affecting me because there are no instant non-lectin foods.
Yeah.
I can't just go to put in a pizza and cook it and there it is ready for me. That's full of lectins. I'm going to have to prepare food. So now I am actually literally dealing with a belief system that came from these times, from
Yeah.
something that happened in my life. Okay? So so looking at this time between 15 and 21 felt really hard for me again for some reason, even though I was looking forward to coming into the IQ and going, I can do this again. And then I started thinking about the girlfriend who stabbed me in the back during my junior year of high school, and the boyfriend who said he couldn't be my boyfriend because I was too noticeable. And, thinking about all these, pretty drastic things that at that time in your life are just so tender because you want to belong, you want to be loved, you have, and I thought, I can't make that list. I don't want to make that list. I really can't. I don't want to make another list of all the things. So I thought, all right, what do I know about myself? What I know about myself is I get excited if I turn something into a creative activity. I know that if I can get excited, I'm having trouble talking today, creatively, then I'll have traction on it. So I thought,
Yeah.
well, I've been making all these fairy tales. What if I made a fairy tale? And I thought, well, I don't want to have to sort through all these things and make a whole list and make one fairy tale from this whole list. That's the same problem, right? So I thought, what if I made a serialized story where I'm only dealing with a little bit of it at a time?
Yeah.
So that's what I've done. I've made an introduction part, and then my first episode, which is based on an episode that where I got a concussion back in when I was 15, and I've established. I did have a couple of my family moved and I moved schools like 5 times during that period. So a lot of movement. No
Yeah.
wonder I didn't feel like I had any friends. I changed schools every year. So I made this, dark ages fairy tale girl be part of a family that lives in a traveling house. So, it's a house on wheels, so it's going to travel. And so I'm just now starting things because I've activated this. Memories are starting to surface, and I'm just putting them into a memory bank because the story itself feels like it needs to be consecutive.
Yeah.
But, that memory about cooking for the family happened when I was 21. It didn't happen
Yeah.
when I was 15. So I have just notes about that now. But the thing that also helped me come up with this fairy tale is that it's actually an object that is my word. It's a game board.
Right.
It's not a quality within me. It's the game board itself. So the game board is part of the fairy tale. Game board, and basically the fairy tale is her discovering she's magical, that she can see the patterns beneath the game, so to speak,
Right.
and that ability coming online. So all of a sudden, I have moved from seeing all these shadow reactions that happened between 7 and 21 to making it a heroic journey.
Yeah.
Because
That's so cool.
because of these actions, it's turning her into a hero who has magic. And what a different way to be able to look at some of these. Now, I'm not saying it's miraculous and all of a sudden I'm transformed. I'm not looking forward to cooking tomorrow. I am cooking tomorrow. I am going shopping tomorrow. But, if I put on some cool music and I did make a little blessing about the kitchen. And if I just do it so that then the whole rest of the week I don't have to worry about cooking, I think that's one step closer, one gentle
Yeah.
step closer, right? So, anyway.
Excellent. Excellent. Do you know what? I was just thinking as well, like you're putting her in a house that moves, like that sort of gypsy caravan type of
Right.
home, is just a really gentle way to handle the fact that you moved around so much
Yeah.
in that time of your life, because it's such a turbulent time of life. You know, I had two moves myself in that time of life, two moves of home, and each one was so fucking horrible
Yeah.
because I didn't want it. Too much was already changing,
Yeah.
you know? Your body is changing and too much is already changing. And to have to like move 5 times in that period of time. And I just think it's such a, pardon me, gentle way to handle that, to put her in this
Yeah.
moving
Movable
house.
house.
Excuse me, sorry. So that's really nice. And I also, as you were talking, was thinking of the like a parallel with like Baba Yaga, you know,
Yeah. That's
who's the
right. The house.
crone, and
That's
the
right.
house is on legs. And I was just thinking how perfect that you've come up with that imagery of a moving house.
I hadn't even thought about that. And it's an interesting juxtaposition at the moment because what's happening is I've created um
I'll put a picture
okay.
of it in as
So I've
well. Yeah,
created
this is
a
lovely.
portrait of this woman who is a crone. I've made a portrait of each one of my sage words. So here's this crone with this white hair and a cloak, and she's got a game piece and she's in a solarium and it's an ancient, kind of feeling. But I imagine this character that I'm writing about in this one fairy tale becoming this crone. So
Right.
I'm holding those two ends as well. This 15-year-old who will who will become the me that's me
Yeah.
now. I'm 69, almost 70. I'm a crone now. I am that
Yeah.
witchy woman with her game pieces.
Yeah.
Holding that together is kind of, and I only do it just like in moments, just like I'm doing with you right now. But it's a powerful exercise
Yeah.
to see the seeds of who I am now
Yeah.
back then. Wow.
All that potential.
All that
All that
potential,
potential. Yeah. Yeah.
including the potential from those horrible feeling moments,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was sitting when in this guy's truck when he said, "I don't want to be with you because you're too noticeable." I know exactly what I felt like and where, what the light was like. And,
Yeah.
you know, those are hard to come by. But then holding it with this crone woman who is me with the love of my life that I'm married
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Thank God this guy
I know.
didn't want to date me.
I
I
know.
mean,
I
he
know. I
wasn't
mean,
worthy of me.
yeah, I had a, I mean, I suppose like a similar situation, you know, my my first boyfriend who, when you're 16, you think it's gonna
Yes,
last forever,
exactly.
and then through what was a horrible twist of fate at the time for me, and this was like one of the traumas of my teenage years, was my mother married his father, and my first boyfriend became my stepbrother. And it's
Oh my
like,
God.
I mean, my teenage years were like a fucking soap opera written by somebody who was on some really awful drugs. It's just like, could you get a more teenage angst situation, you know?
Oh my God.
But yeah, thank God that that did happen, because like you, here I am in my crone years, married to the love of my
Yeah.
life, and
Yeah.
you know, life brought me here. So yeah, I'm so my sage words. I love the way you're doing this, Meghan, and it's just been so inspiring for me this week to listen to you talk about this, and I'm just in awe of your creativity, that you're making this fairy story about something that's so huge and so, you know, could be such a traumatic thing to look at, those teenage years, because they're hard years.
They are hard
even
years.
if you're even if your external life is really straightforward, they're still hard years because of the changes you're going through. I am actually doing it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
So I'm actually coming at it. I've just been immersing myself in my sage word. So I've got 12.2 here, which is the Shadow of Vanity, the Gift of Discrimination, and the Siddhi of Purity. And I've had a lot of trouble with this, Jinky, in the past, because nobody wants to think that they've got the Shadow of Vanity. Especially not when they're a teenager and you're looking at your teenage years. But the sage wisdom has just completely changed the way I think about this, Jinky. So the sage word is conviction, which I did start out in the first, at first looking at it, I was thinking, oh my God, that's just like so boring and so dull after having myth in my attraction, but actually I love it. The sage line is sensuous living as a result of decisive action. So I've just been immersing myself in this amazing word conviction, and this idea, this notion of sensuous living. I'll just read you the sutra. The sutra is called Advice from a Courtesan. No matter what you do, you are forgiven. Inhabit your roles with conviction, for even as you slide into each other, your heart remains untarnished, imperishable, and pure. So I was like, I haven't even started like thinking about my IQ years and how all of that fits into it, and how the wounding patterns and the belief systems. I've just been letting myself completely fall into this feeling of conviction, and it just feels so perfect for me, because I feel like I am a woman of conviction.
Yeah.
I am totally committed to this work. I am totally committed to doing this work on myself, no matter what comes up, no matter how hard it is. And I want to peel back all those layers, and I have the conviction to do that. I absolutely am convinced that this is what I'm meant to be doing in this lifetime. I am convinced that my whole life has been leading me right here to this journey that I'm on, and just being committed to this work.
Yeah.
And just, I remember in the very first call I had with Hayley, when I knew nothing about Jinkies, literally knew nothing about Jinkies at all, but knew that I wanted to do something with Hayley because she was just like blowing my mind in her membership. And she started talking about my life's work and about, you know, what I wanted. And I said to her, I want to suck the marrow out of life. I love that quote. I just love that. Suck the marrow out of life. It's what, I want to do this work because I want to know myself really well. I want to look beneath all the rocks and peel back all the layers and really just, I love my life, I really fucking love my life, and I want to revel in it, and I don't want there to be fears that I'm scared to look at. I don't want there to be, things that I'm ashamed of, or things that I blame myself for or blame other people for. I want to look at all of it, and just this sage wisdom of living a sensuous life. Just to me, it just feels like I read it and it was just like, that is what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing with this work. Because it's like, it's not, at first reading it, you might, and especially since he's talking about, advice from a courtesan, you might think, or one might think, that it's talking about like only the physical sensuality, like the sexuality. Obviously, this time in my life, I'm not 23 anymore. I'm 63. Sensuality means a different thing to me now than it did, when I was 21, 23, whatever. For me, this sensuous life is sensory life. It's about diving into life and, just loving where I'm at right now, going for a walk and just loving everything that I'm experiencing life. That's what it feels like, like Haley talked to us once about, it's when we were in Devoted, and she talked about the experience of having an experience. So that even if the experience is absolutely shit, and it's just not something that you want, we are so lucky to be having the experience of this life. And I feel that more and more every single day. My dad died when he was 42 years old. I've already lived half his lifetime again. I'm so lucky. I am so lucky, and I want to live a sensuous life. I want to experience everything, and I don't want things to be out of bounds because they are difficult to look at, or because they might make me frightened or not feel safe. And what has been amazing for me has been realizing that I'm ready to live a life of conviction. I've done the work. It's not finished. The work is not going to be finished until my dying day. We know this now, don't we? This is a lifelong quest that we're on, whether we keep working with the Gene Keys or not. Knowing ourselves and being alive is a lifelong thing, and I feel like the last 3.5 years of working with the Gene Keys, I've built such core stability. It's like you were talking about with your, I love that you call it a teeter-totter. We call it a seesaw.
Seesaw, yes.
I never knew that. I never knew until you said it, that's what a teeter-totter. I've heard it in American films and TV. Didn't know what they were talking about. That's
seesaw. It is a seesaw. You're right.
But we've done the work and we've built the core stability. And yes, things might rock us and push us off balance and push us off kilter, and we might go up here and we might go down there, but we've got the core stability that brings us back to center. And that's what I feel like. I'm this conviction this conviction is such a perfect word for me, because I feel like that is part of my core stability.
Yeah.
That I do have this conviction that I will, I was thinking about what is it that I want? What is this sensuous life I want to suck the marrow out of? And it's exactly what I've got. It's this
Yes.
simple life that I've got, where I'm married to the love of my life. I've got in you the best friend I have ever had in my life. I've made connections with people like I've never had before. And I'm doing the work that feels really important to me. Is there anything better than that? And I know, like, when I talked to Haley about it, she was like, oh, what a brilliant word. People yearn to have conviction, to have something that they really believe in.
Yeah.
So I haven't even started on the IQ thing at all, really.
Well, that's my question since we started this as a showing how we do things differently. What will be your steps, do you think, through the month as you go through?
I think part of it is is approaching it from a place of conviction, that I will. I know what I'm like, because it's the way that my mind works. I will go through it chronologically. I will go through, those things that happened to me in those years. I've made another list for the third, because this is my third time here, and I did make a list. I knew about that exercise, and I made my list of all the things and how they made, the belief systems and the beliefs that they put in place, and the way of thinking. So I want to look at them from this place of, they all led me here to this sensuous life. What did they do, and how can I bring like the advice from the courtesan? Because what Richard talks about with that, the courtesan, is that you live with intensity. The courtesan life is he calls it the tantric path, and I, again, like, when my initial sort of definition of sensuous was about sexual sensuality, and with the courtesan, my mind immediately went to, like, sort of high status prostitute. That's what they are. They're basically there to give sex to high status people, but historically, they were women who were highly educated, who were trained to be artists and musicians and singers and dancers, and to bring this sort of high level of, I suppose, creativity and aesthetic pleasure to these high status men.
Right.
So I've been thinking of it like the courtesan that's the yin energy, because they would always have been in it would have been men who were in power in that time, in Renaissance days, and like ancient India and China, where they did have their versions of courtesans, and it would be the men who were in the power, but the women were bringing all this yin, sensual creativity. So that's what I want to try and bring that to how I look at these IQ years. Just try and look at it. See if I can find the passion and the intensity that was there in my teenage years, not just looking at the shit that happened. Do you know
exactly.
what I mean?
I was thinking the same thing. What was our sage word like when we were 16? Now, granted, these sage words are the gift. They don't usually hold the shadow part. And I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of shadows happened during that time. But where
Yeah.
was that gift of the seeing the patterns beneath the magic of the
Yeah.
universe, beneath relationships and so on? Where was that when I was 17 and 18 and
Yeah.
my first year of college? And so that'll be an interesting thing to just sort of note throughout the
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. And it's like, because I've got the line two here. So in the shadow, that's the provocative mind. And
that's
oh
right.
my God.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
especially, imagine this, you're 17 years old. Your boyfriend becomes your stepbrother. Your mother, who's been emotionally like distant for 6 years, is suddenly giving all this love to this other person. You're moved out of your home into their home.
Oh my
You know,
God.
I was the I was the stepchild from hell. I actually years later, I was probably in my 30s. It may well have been after I had a child myself. I actually said to my stepfather, I'm really sorry. But I was just such a
Yeah,
bitch to you. I was. And so that provocative mind was there.
yeah,
But you're right. The gift side of it is the
right.
brilliant mind. And I
Yeah.
had a brilliant mind. I soaked up so much information. I was learning 3 languages at school. I
Yeah,
was learning Russian, French, and German.
yeah.
And I was brilliant at all of them.
Wow.
I had a brilliant mind. So there's a lot in that teenage me that I can celebrate,
Yeah,
and it's very interesting to me that even then it was all about language. It was all about words. My subjects when I got into my final year, which is in Scotland we call them hires. It's like your senior thing, your subjects you're studying in your senior years. At school, and it was English, Russian, French, and German. It was all about language.
language.
It was all about words. It was all about vocabulary, you know. Um, and I was able to do that. I was able to walk from one class where I was speaking Russian into another class where we were reading T.S. Eliot poetry to another class where I was doing French.
Yeah.
You know, my mind was able to do all of
Oh my
that.
God.
I know. If I
Mine
could
was all
tap into that.
mine was all performance, dance and singing and acting. So,
Ah.
but I had an objective mind.
I would have been so jealous of you. I mean, my best friend at school, she was my best friend from primary one all through these years, all through the secondary school. And she used to be envious of the fact that I passed every single exam really easily and never had to. And I was so jealous of the fact that was such a great singer and was a great performer. She was a great performer, even like before we got to these IQ years. We were writing plays and performing plays. We were making up dance routines and, performing them in front of the class. Please, miss, can we show you our latest dance?
Yes, I know, been there.
Yeah. And I was so envious of her. I just, of her confidence in performing. So, yeah. I'd have loved to have had you as my best friend at school.
That would have been lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Did you have Go ahead.
Sorry. You go.
I'm about to change the subject, so you go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to say, in the Gene Keys discourse group,
Yes.
which is like, how many of us are doing the Sage? 5,000? Is it something like that? It's thousands of people around the world are doing it. So they've created this online community discourse, and you and I, we're in there loads. And this woman in there, Tamara, she did this post about the music she was listening to in these IQ years.
Yeah.
And I got into a bit of there's a few of us got into a bit of a conversation in the comments. So what I've been doing this week, off and on this week, I've been going into YouTube and creating a playlist, like
You
looking
mean,
at all the.
do you mean Spotify?
No, I've been doing it in
You're
YouTube.
doing it in
I've been
YouTube?
making a playlist in YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know why I chose YouTube rather than Spotify, but
Okay.
I did anyway. And as I've been remembering like songs, it's been triggering another song
Yeah.
and another song. I've now got like over 100 songs I've got in my playlist.
God.
But what has been brilliant has been, as I've been listening to them and thinking, do I want to add this? Getting a memory
Yeah.
of what I loved about, what was going, and it's been brilliant because I've been remembering really nice things. There's a few
good.
sad things in there. There's a few sad songs, some Carole King and some Bread and Janice Ian, that I would be listening to when I was, oh, woe is me, my life is over because my boyfriend dumped me, But loads of them really made me smile.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, God, I can remember like I remembered, of which I had completely forgot, like this lad that I went to college with, and we were really good friends, just friends. There was never anything other than friendship. But I can remember that we were at this party, and both of us hated parties, so we were just sitting talking amongst ourselves, and somebody put "Bat Out of Hell" on, the Meatloaf album, and it transpired that me and him knew all the words of all the songs.
Of all the songs.
We just sat there having these duets, we just completely ignoring everybody else at this party.
Karaoke before karaoke happened. Yeah.
Singing away. So I was like, oh my God, so I was able to, like, by doing this exercise of what songs was I listening to in these years,
Yeah.
pull out all these lovely memories as well. So it wasn't all angst and my life is shit. There were actually some good bits too.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm sorry, all the music that I remember are the things I sang in choir, the Hallelujah chorus, Well, did you happen to remember to make up a thing?
I didn't.
You know what we're going to do then instead? We're going to talk about the whimsical nature stops that happen during our Voxers, is what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So, for anyone who doesn't know what Voxer is, it's a walkie-talkie app. So basically, I make voice recordings, then, I'm in the group that is just me and Lizzie. So I make voice recordings because, we're 7 hours apart. So she's awake when I'm asleep, and she goes to sleep when I'm still awake. And so we leave voice messages for each other. So we'll have these long voice messages about, oh, today in my fairy tale I did such and such, and it made me think about when blah, blah, blah. And then we're going in deep into the meanings of these gene keys and everything. Then all of a sudden I'll go, oh, wait a minute. What was that? Oh my God, what bird is that? And I'm literally, I've still got my phone on. What bird is that? Oh my God, but there's another one. Wait, that one's a hawk. And I'm literally sitting here telling her about what is happening in nature as I'm walking and talking. Oh, I think I'm going to have to look that up. Hold on just a minute. I stop the recording. I go on to Google. What kind of bird is gigantic, bigger than a hawk, has some white on its tail, but does not have a white head? Google comes back. That would be a juvenile eagle in McCall, Idaho at this time of year. So I'll go back on. It's a juvenile eagle. It's a young eagle. It's so cool. We haven't had an eagle here for a long time. And look what Merlin is barking at him. So our Voxers are hilarious because we do this all the time. And
I know.
One of the things I freaking love is when Lizzie's walking at work and all of a sudden she comes and she goes, oh, baby bunnies. Oh my God, look at all the baby bunnies. There's baby bunnies everywhere. And then the next day, oh my God, baby bunnies again. And then the next day, oh my God, I'm in Bunnyville. That was the most recent one. I'm in Bunnyville again. Oh my God. And then I can tell the different walks you're on, because sometimes you're on a walk at work where you have a
Yeah.
lot of animals that aren't threatened by cars or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then your
Yeah.
walks from your house are different, usually mostly birds
Mostly
at,
birds. Yeah.
at your house.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love that. And I'm really envious of the birds that you have. You know, like this morning, I I didn't start listening to your Voxer messages to me until I went out for my walk. And that's kind of what I do at the weekends. The first part of my walk is listening to your Voxer messages from the night before. And you went straight in. It was like a cold open. You were straight in there with, it wasn't a juvenile pileated woodpecker. It was a female. It was just like, you
Yes.
and then occasionally you make me really, really jealous. I mean, as if hearing about eagles and pileated woodpeckers and 17 magpies, you tell me, oh, it's a hummingbird. It's just like, oh my God.
I
So
know.
yeah, I absolutely love it. And I've gotten to, because it's become a part of our conversation now, like you say, I might be telling you like this really deep thing that has come up for me about living sensuously. Oh, it's a dragonfly, or oh, it's a baby bunny, that I've gotten to the point now. I come home, I'll come upstairs to say hello to Steve when I get home from work, and I'll be like, today's nature report, a muntjac, 15 baby bunnies, and a song thrush. Yes.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I go into Tim and say, oh my God, today the cranes were, they have one baby. They have one baby and they're out there, and luckily they were far enough away. The dog didn't chase them, but I do the same
Yeah.
thing. I even did that same report to him. Oh, the pileated woodpecker that I saw up there, it wasn't the baby, although the baby did come, it's so funny. I do share the same
I
thing.
know. I
And
know.
like right now, we have did I send you the picture of the buck? We have a young buck,
Yes.
yeah, who is grazing around my art hut, which he did 2 years ago as well. I don't know if he's that young. He's just a buck. But
Yeah.
because bucks lose their antlers, they grow them again, right? Like he's growing them now for winter. And they're very tender. You can see that all the little soft fuzziness around his
Yeah.
antlers. And apparently that's very tender to the bucks. So he
Right.
is staying up around where there's more grassland, but still within trees, so that he doesn't brush his antlers against
Right.
undergrowth.
Right. Okay.
So now I'm having to be more careful with my dog so he doesn't chase him away
Yeah.
for
Yeah, I
this
was
month.
just going to say actually that's the other joy that I get from listening to, especially when it's the Voxers you leave me, when you're walking
Yeah.
Merlin, or throwing the ball for him at
Oh,
night.
yeah. Oh, I do a
Is
lot of boxering when I'm throwing the ball.
you'll be in the middle of telling me something, and then you shout at Merlin, "Get your ball!" Oh no, have you lost your ball?
That's right, I do.
Love so much. It's like
So,
I'm right there with
right
Merlin,
there with
and
Merlin watching him.
or listening. You know, I, I love the way you talk to the birds.
Oh,
But you're walking along and you're talking to me, and then you just flow seamlessly into a conversation with a raven or an eagle. It's so good. It's so good. Oh,
so that's
it's so,
our whimsical report for today, because we've been
yeah.
meaning to let you know. I mean, this has been going on for how long did you say we've been Voxering every day now? A year and a half?
It's more than a year
More
and a
than a
half,
year?
because
Yeah.
we actually started the daily Voxering. I think started in the Christmas holidays before we started Devoted. So
Got
that
it.
would have been
Yeah.
December 24.
Okay.
I mean, we'd Voxered before then, obviously, but the daily
Right, the daily.
started
Yeah.
then.
Well, that's because you
Um,
started walking.
yeah, yeah,
That made you started walking and talking more. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, that's every day we have a nature report to each other.
We do. Whether
And
the
I'm
other
like,
person wants to hear it or not, we just have to tell
today
each
I
other.
learned about the drought in Britain. Yeah.
Yes.
And we're used to droughts where I live. So I mean, it's fire season now. So my sun and my moon a lot of times will have orange on it because of the smoke in the
Right.
air. So we talk about that kind of thing
We're not
too.
used to that here.
Yeah.
We're not used to that
Yeah.
here at all. So, yeah.
All right.
Now, what I will do in the show notes for this, or in the post anyway, both on the website and in GKU, I will link to Haley's YouTube video
Oh
about
yes,
the IQ,
about the
because
IQ.
it's
It's really
just
good, and
brilliant.
it's short, sweet.
It's short, yeah. And anyone can do it. It's a brilliant thing to do if you are contemplating your IQ. And I'll also share Meghan's card because it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Of your sage. So
this has been so lovely to be back with you after a month.
I know.
And we're not going to commit to 2 weeks from now. We will just see how we feel, because as you can tell, the intensity of our lives is pretty amazing right now. And we really do believe in that gentle approach and that patience. And sometimes that means we need to rest. Yeah. So we may see you in 2 weeks and we may see you in a month, or you will hear us then, depending on if you're actually watching or listening. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And it's always so brilliant to be with you, Lizzie.
It is brilliant
live.
to be with you. Yeah, I know. No, thank you, Meghan. I've really, really enjoyed this. It's been so much fun.
So goodbye, everybody, and take care.
Bye.